Welcome everyone to today's episode of Flat Tire Dan. As always, I want to start out by thanking everyone who has been viewing our episodes and subscribed to the channel and has been following along on our big trip. And remind you of our Instagram page, flat_tire_Dan. I have posted some pictures the last couple days of our transition from part one of our big trip to part two of our big trip, and so today's episode is all about part two of our big trip, which I've mentioned in previous episodes that Triton and I were heading from Ohio to West Virginia to do some camping and some hiking. And so we left Ohio yesterday morning, and on the way to our campground that we had reserved in West Virginia, like 10 miles over the Pennsylvania border, but in West Virginia, we made a quick stop in Morgantown, West Virginia. Now, for those of you who don't know me, I'm kind of a crazy college football fan, right? And Morgantown is home to the West Virginia Mountaineers. And so whenever I'm in the neighborhood, I always try and stop and take a nice walk around the campus, especially around the sports complexes and stuff. And so I did get some pictures of that I'm going to include in this episode. And I figured it required some explanation because it has nothing to do with camping or hiking. But we left there, and we about 30 minutes down the road was the campground that we had reserved. So we got there. And I've never been camping in this part of the world before. And we got there, and it was a little more rugged and rural and out in the middle of nowhere than Triton and I are used to. And so we immediately turned around and kind of headed back out of the campground, and we stopped at the gate, and we explained to them that it just, they didn't have the facilities that we were looking for, and it was a little more than we were looking for, and they were really gracious about it. They were like, no problem, we get it, it's not for everyone. They actually refunded all of our deposit money, and then they suggested a couple other campgrounds that, in the area, because we still wanted to do the hiking that we wanted to do. And we ended up at the campground that we're at now, which is exactly the kind of campground that Triton and I like to go to. It's called the I think I'm pronouncing that right, Yacht Lake Campground. And it's more of your traditional campground with like individual sites and nice bathhouses and all that kind of stuff. And so I did post some pictures on Instagram, and I'll put them in this episode too, of sort of our campsite with the truck set up with the truck bed tent and all that kind of stuff. So we got settled in last night, had a quick bite to eat, got to bed early because we knew we were going to have a big day today, which we did. So we got up early and we headed over to Ohiopyle State Park. Now, Ohiopyle State Park borders the Youghiogheny River, and the Youghiogheny River and the Ohiopyle State Park are known for like whitewater rafting and big waterfalls and like really cool like natural water slides, all kinds of cool water stuff, and then obviously hiking around that. And then it's kind of the stuff that him and I like to do. And so we headed over to Ohiopyle this morning, went to the Welcome Center first thing. They were great there. They gave us a map. I told them what I wanted to see, and they pointed us in the right direction, and off we went. Now, the hiking there was awesome. I mean, you'll see the pictures, and then there's more pictures than video, which I know doesn't make for the best YouTube episode, but it's kind of, the cards we were dealt today. But awesome hiking, awesome trails, unbelievable scenery. There were like sort of moderate average trails that were nice kind of flat hiking, and then there were trails that were a little more advanced if you wanted to get kind of closer to the river, and we experienced both today. And so there's all kinds of hiking here for all different types of hikers. We got to see a bunch of cool waterfalls, and you'll see all that cool bridges and just all kinds of neat stuff. And you'll see that in the pictures and the videos. A couple fun things that happened while we were here. We're hiking about 10 minutes and getting down along the river. And I start getting this like weird familiarity feeling that I had been here before, right? But I was certain I'd never been here before, and then I realized that 30 years ago I was here whitewater rafting, which was just kind of neat, because then it all started coming back to me, and so that was kind of cool. And then the other thing was Triton and I were out hiking, right, and we hiked up to this sort of larger fall that's off the river, and it's this big sort of like long drop fall, and you'll see the pictures in the video, and it starts to rain a little bit. So we find this little cave to duck into, which was kind of like the perfect spot to take pictures from anyway. And we're just kind of standing in this kind of big cave, letting it rain, right? And I check my weather app, and it's going to rain for 10 minutes. And so him and I are going to wait it out. And I, kind of like, oh, look at us. We got lucky. We didn't get rained on. And so sure enough, 10 minutes later, it stops raining. And I got some footage. Hopefully it turns out as good as it felt of it actually raining while we were there, and we head back out on the trail. Now we head out the trail into the woods, and so we're done being in areas where we can find cover. And about 10 minutes later, it just starts to pour again, like rain again. and there was nowhere to escape it. And so for the first like minute or so, we're like, oh, it's raining, and Triton's shaking the entire time. And then eventually, like, I think the two of us at the same time just realized, like, it is what it is. Like, we're in it, let's just enjoy it. And we did. We hiked for a solid half hour in the pouring rain, and it was a lot of fun. Like this part of the trip is all about Triton. I mean, I love it, and obviously I love sharing it with you guys, but like, I think today in his mind was his perfect day. And I go on and on about how good of a dog he is, and he's a great dog, and I work a lot, you know, like everybody else, and there's a lot of the flat tire Dan stuff that I do that he just can't do with me, you know. And so it was just awesome to kind of spend the day with him doing what I know he loves to do best. And hopefully that comes across in the pictures and the videos. I got some video of him swimming, which is one of his favorite things. But it was an outstanding day. We had a great time, and I certainly would recommend Ohiopyle State Park. About 5 hours from home, if you guys are from where I'm at. And like I said, lots of nice campgrounds and stuff down here to stay at. So we're going to break camp in the morning. We're going to have a nice big dinner tonight. We're going to sit around the fire and camp tonight, and then we're gonna break camp in the morning and head home. I still have a couple days off, which will be nice. I gotta still kind of get situated with that camper. I bought it, and then we hit the road. But I'm not really sure what's coming up next. You guys have been suggesting stuff, which is very helpful, you know, because kind of half the challenge for me is thinking up stuff to do, and then the other half is, you know, figuring out how to do it. But you guys have been making some pretty cool suggestions, and so I'm going to start working on some stuff like that. Like I still have the walk around episode to do of the X3, and something like more thorough on the camper. And then I've actually had some suggestions on people asking me to do some stuff with the truck, which I never really thought of, but I'm going to do. I mean, it's a mess and it smells like wet dog, but I'll get that cleaned out when I get home, and maybe I'll do that next, whatever. But there's certainly some stuff coming up. Again, like, there's no way we couldn't be having a blast doing what we're doing, but knowing you guys are watching, and you guys are watching, and that's awesome. We really appreciate it, and we're grateful that you're watching. And so we're going to head home tomorrow. And again, thank you for coming along on our big trip. And remember, stay tuned for more content from Flat Tire Dan. See ya. Want to go swimming? Okay. Come on, go swimming. Where are you going? swimming to? You're a good swimmer.